We left Avon. They had just arrived in Phoenix, or outside of Phoenix, at the Stagecoach Pass theme park. And remember, Mom and Dad, Dad had lost his job, but he was offered a position to run the theme park, but that meant they had to move from Kansas to Phoenix, Arizona. You were going to sort of look up what was the route that it would take them to get from Kansas, which is just to the east of Colorado, to Arizona, which is located southwestish of next to New Mexico's below us, and then Arizona. So how many of you figured out how long it was going to take? Yeah, it's pretty long, even though they say they did it in one day, and they ended up in Kansas. And they had to pack everything they had to get rid of. They probably had like a garage sale to get rid of all their stuff. And now her grandmother lives in Kansas, so that's probably going to be hard for her to leave her grandmother who lives there. Now, there was another interesting point that a little bit more information that they told us about Avon. Do you remember what it was? It was when Dad said, you remember we used to live there, or you lived there before. Well, she was born there, and she was adopted. Okay, so she was adopted by her mom and dad, and they're going back to Arizona, and she was born there. So that's a new bit of information about Avon. And does it sound like she has any brothers or sisters? It doesn't. At least if she does, we don't know about them. They haven't mentioned them, and if she does, they must be quite a bit older because they must not live at home. So she's 13. And she's moving to Phoenix, and she's going to have to start a new school. So this is chapter 3. Okay. We parked in the large dirt parking lot and got out of the car. I squinted from the bright, hot sun. Had the sun been this bright in Kansas? I didn't think so. I looked around. I'd never seen so much brown before. Not a patch of grass anywhere. Did grass even exist in Arizona? Again, I didn't think so. We walked over to the compacted dirt toward the entrance, which wasn't closed up, even though the park wasn't open yet. I guess they weren't too worried about people sneaking in. A lizard skittered across the dirt in front of me, and I jumped back. The dirt never ended. There were no sidewalks or grass or paved anything at Stagecoach Pass, just dirt and old wooden buildings with old wooden steps and old wooden porches that looked like they might collapse at any time. Good morning, a cheerful gray mustached man greeted us from one of those porches. He wore a cowboy hat and held a mug of something steamy. Coffee? In this heat? Good morning, Mom and Dad said at the same time. Nice to see you again, Gary, said Mom. I looked at her. He's the one who interviewed us, she whispered to me. He's the accountant for the park. Gary walked down the steps. And this must be Avon. I gave Gary a polite smile. He seemed nice enough, even though his gray mustache was awfully pointy. Well, Gary said, tossing his coffee on the dirt, where it dried in about 2 seconds. I bet you're tired after your long trip. I'll take you up to the apartment. As we trudged toward our new living quarters, which were apparently located right over the steakhouse, Dad asked, So when do we get to meet Joe Kavanaugh? Oh, no one ever meets Joe, said Gary. Not around here much. That's strange, said Mom. A business owner who doesn't visit his own business? Gary smiled and tilted his hat at her. That's why Joe needs good managers, ma'am. Mom and Dad had described the apartment as a cozy but humble little place. They weren't kidding about the cozy, or the humble, or the little. Gary and a few other men from the park, all dressed like cowboys, carried our stuff up from the car. After Mom and I finished putting away my suitcase of bare necessities, she said to me, Why don't you go out and explore, honey? What's there to explore? Tons of stuff, she said. There's a gold mine and a gift shop and a museum and a soda shop. You could get yourself an ice cream. She looked at her watch. It won't be open for a half an hour, though. So I went out and explored for about 5 minutes. The heat got more and more intense with every second until I was forced into the air-conditioned museum. The museum was actually more like a room. Just one room with picture-covered walls and a few artifacts in glass cases. These artifacts included a collection of stone arrowheads, and some broken Navajo pottery pieces, a pistol from the 1800s, a pair of old spurs, and a genuine dead tarantula with an information board that shared facts like tarantulas have no teeth, so they use their venom to liquefy their prey and suck up the liquid nastiness directly into their stomachs. How awesome is that? I scanned the framed photographs on the walls, the old wooden floorboards creaking under my feet. Most of the pictures were black and white, taken a long time ago when Stagecoach Pass first opened. It looked like it was quite the place back then. Crowds and rodeos and even parades on Main Street. Then I came to an empty space on the wall where it seemed a picture had been removed. The nameplate beneath the empty space had been left up and said, "The Kavanaughs, Stagecoach Pass, 2004. I looked around at the rest of the photos and each of their nameplates, but I couldn't find any more of the Kavanaughs. I thought about what Gary had said. No one ever meets Joe. And I wondered why. "There you are," Dad said from behind me. "I've been looking for you." I turned around, just getting some cool air. "Don't worry," Dad wiped the sweat from his forehead. "It will cool down soon." "Guess what?" "What?" "The rodeo arena is all closed down, so I thought we could set up a soccer goal out there and practice." "That sounds great. You want to go kick the ball around now?" "Isn't it too hot?" "Never. Plus, we can keep cool with ice cream." "What if I get a sunburn?" "They have sunblock in the gift shop." I smiled. "You have an answer for everything, don't you?" Dad put an arm around me and led me into the gift shop. "Of course. Didn't you know? That's Dad's know everything." I snorted as he picked out a small tube of sunblock from a rack. "I'd like to be there when you tell Mom that." Okay, chapter 3. Oh, we found a little bit more information out. So, the Stagecoach Pass. What do you think of it? What does Avon think of it? Yeah, seems like it's sort of maybe run down. Hasn't been used in a while. I mean, not very many people there, not very many crowds, not very well kept up, sort of old. Like the stairs were old, the boards were old. They are all together. And they get sort of cool. You get to live in an amusement park, so maybe that'd be sort of fun. A theme park. What about the guy who meant them? What was his name again? Gary. Right, Gary. Yeah. Yeah, what was he dressed up like? Yeah, sort of like cowboy. It seemed like the other people who were there too were dressed up like cowboy. So that must be the theme, of course, Stagecoach Pass with the theme. And she's already wandered in to what building? So yeah, she wandered into the museum. And now there was something that pointed to maybe what is going to be part of the mystery. Right, there's one picture missing on the wall. And it's from the year 2004, and it says the name, the Kavanaughs. Now remember, the owner, wasn't his name Joe Kavanaugh? But they said he never comes. So I wonder what has happened. If they owned the theme park, but they never come, and they took their picture down. I wonder what happened. Okay, I think that's going to be part of the mystery. Well, and also there was one animal that she talked about, and this is going to be part of the story later on too. Do you remember what it was? And she thought it was pretty awesome, even though it sort of sounded yucky. Yeah, it was a dead tarantula. And then it had like a whole little information about it. You could look that up on the internet about tarantulas. They have no teeth, which is sort of interesting because I thought they were poisonous and they could bite you. So, but it says they use their venom to liquefy their prey, so they must like spit it at you and suck up the liquid nastiness directly into their stomachs. But she said, how awesome is that? So